Do you like basketball? I like, but I'm not good at. Yes, I'm not.
Me too.
Back to the State of the League podcast, Patreon edition, the only NBA podcast where one of the hosts just chugged a cup of coffee. And so, if you hear the phrase, "All right, we're back" in this podcast at any point, it's most likely because I had to go somewhere and take care of something as a result of chugging that coffee. But we're here, we're excited, we're happy to talk about the Western Conference, the conference where things are actually going on. I'm your host, Jack, aka Joestar. With me, as always, the world famous Pablo Escobar. Pablo, how are you doing today?
I think we're probably not the only basketball podcast with that element, because everyone who has a basketball podcast is a millennial or older millennial, and so that's like top 5 personality traits. Like, God, I love my coffee. I've been drinking so much coffee. I'm on my 4th cup today. But they don't mention the dumping part, so maybe that's the difference. We are more transparent about the dumping.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's something I value in this podcast. Is just like I want
Dumping or transparency?
both. I think
Oh.
the dumping is symbolic of like a larger, standard that we hold ourselves to around here. Where it's like, yeah, if there's a certain player that we don't fuck with, but he's playing well, we're not going to pretend that that's not going on just because we want the agendas to go well. The same way we're not going to pretend that we're not dumping just because we want people to think that we're like supreme beings that don't have to do that kind of stuff.
We're spreading our anus. We're letting it fly.
Absolutely. Maybe I'll circle back to that. We got a couple players this week that could definitely be compared to a spread anus, no question.
And I just realized this is not video, right?
No, I'm recording the video for like if we want to clip stuff and put it on TikTok or whatever, but this like it'll just be audio on YouTube and Patreon.
So let's save the Najee Marshall ad for next week so the guy could see it.
All right.
Najee Marshall lover, it's coming.
Hey, well, I'm just saying. I think it specifically talks about how Najee Marshall is the Jokic stopper. So, hey, whatever. Najee Marshall fan, we fuck with you. Najee Marshall, I fuck with you, to be honest. Peach Cream, the knife. Oh my god. Talk about two nicknames on the opposite ends of the spectrum. One that's not threatening at all, one that sounds like he's done criminal acts on the court before. Shout out to Najee. Or do you want to start with the Thunder, or do you have any specific requests?
Nope.
Okay. Let me timestamp. Let me get this timestamp shit open. Timestamp, and I'm gonna post the timestamps this week. I promise. Josh Lerman, goddamn, he didn't post the timestamps again, dude. Fucking, just like listen, just listen all the way through. You'll get to what you need to get to eventually. You guys are so. That's the problem with people today. You're so worried about like, oh, I got this 3-hour podcast. So I don't have 3 hours to listen to. Why is your time so valuable? Okay. Yeah. Listen to the whole fucking thing. No, I'm just kidding. On here, do whatever you want. You could listen to none of it for all I care. $5 a month. All right. The Oklahoma City Thunder, they had a 3-1 week. They beat the Spurs, or wait, no, they beat the Suns, the Pelicans, the Clippers, and then they lost to the Warriors. They are still the number 1 ranked defense without Chet Holmgren for 3 games at this point, I believe. And they're the 13th ranked offense. So on that end of the floor, it's a little funky, but defensively, nobody can score on them. What do you think about the Thunder right now?
Yeah, we've got Chet out 8 to 10 weeks. That's new for us, and so bad news. Your defensive anchor goes down. How are you going to survive? You walk into a matchup against Yusuf Nurkic and the Suns. He's going to brutalize you. He's 7 feet, 290 pounds. How are they going to guard him? Boom! Punch him in the face. Boom! Slash his knees. Boom! Carve his tires up and wear it as a mask and scare him. They had Yusuf Nurkic in hell. They are basically they've been playing J-Dub at center because he's got mass in his upper body. He's stout.
But that's what they're calling him.
and he's got a 7'2" wingspan, so he's crazy. But they're not just playing straight up. Um, they're giving him help, but
Mhm.
it's like they're doing like guerrilla warfare. Like sometimes they'll send everybody to help. Sometimes they'll send Shea from the opposite side of the court to help. They're sending guys in different increments, and Yusuf Nurkic could not decipher it. And then even when he had like opportunities to score, he wasn't doing it. He was like, aha, this is when I'll deceive them and pass. And so it didn't work out for him. I didn't get to watch the other two games where J-Dub has been at center, but the lineup so far, let me tell you, he's played 169 possessions at center. Um, they and that's a lot of possessions. That's more than any Warriors lineup has played. Um, they are plus 23. They have a 129.6 offensive rating and a 106.4 defensive rating. So I don't know if this is sustainable, but you know what? We did see microball years ago for the Rockets. He's not PJ Tucker, but we'll see what these guys could do because they just have a unique collection of tiny guys who are either really strong and physically stout, really long, or both. So
Yeah.
if it was gonna, if any team had to play like this, it's good. It's them.
Yeah, that's my takeaway too. Was that like if a team is just not allowed to have a 7-footer on their roster, or if 7-footers all disappeared tomorrow, the Thunder are like the best equipped to survive that. It feels like where they already spent the entirety of last season, and Chet played all 82 last season, so the dynamic is different. But a lot of their approach was just like, okay, yeah, Chet's big and he's down there, but nobody else is. Like, we're not a big team. We're not going to rebound the ball a ton. So we have to figure out other ways to win. We have to generate turnovers. We have to get out in transition. We have to be really good defensively. All of that stuff that they dominated with last year. It was just like a training session, training arc for this moment right now, for when their fucking sensei goes down and they got to spin the block back to get revenge, or however
Bronny.
you want to frame it. Yeah, so they've been playing incredible. I don't know. I believe the Clippers game, Chet was also not playing in. I watched that one, and that was pretty good. That was Shea's career high, actually. I don't know if you caught that. He scored 45 points. The Thunder were up 20 with like 6 minutes left in the third, and then at the start of the fourth, they were only up five. So it's just, I don't know. A lot of Twitter was like, "Oh, Shea only has 45 as their career high, or as his career high." Non-binary Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. And I don't know. They were framing 45 like it's some terrible career high that he shouldn't be like respected as a scorer or anything. But when you watch him, and especially when you watch the games where he has to take a lot of shots in the fourth quarter, it really puts into perspective like how often he really is going like full on I'm trying to score as much as possible mode in game, which is not that often. Like he gets to like 31, 32, 35 or whatever, and the Thunder handily win, and he doesn't have to take over like that, so he doesn't really do it. But in this Clippers game, he had what, 11 points and 3 assists in the fourth quarter. And then I think J-Dub also poured in like 13 or something crazy. So they both did a lot to kind of steady the ship into a win after nearly blowing that big lead. But yeah, it was a great game for Shea. And then, yeah, I also just wrote down the Nurkic thing. I will say the phrase Nurkic could not decipher it. That's shocking. I'm shocked that Nurkic couldn't figure that one out. I know I said last week we figured out he was based, so I was going to take it easy on him. Um, he would have to say things that would like get him like put on trial in the McCarthy era to excuse the level that he's been playing at this past week. He would have to say things so based that they would like write books about him. Because he's been really bad.
We'll see. We just got to keep asking him the right questions. But yeah, Shea's career high. Listen, everyone on Twitter is a Derrick Rose stan. Go through Derrick Rose for until he dropped 50 with the Timberwolves. His career high was like 42 or 45 or something. Some guys aren't high volume guys. Kevin Durant was like that for many years. What's Kevin Durant? Has he had a huge?
I
He's
don't
had
think
like
he's
a
ever had.
60.
I don't think he's ever had 60.
Really? What is his career high?
I
Let's
would
see.
wager like 54 if I had to just like take a stab at it. I really don't think he's ever had 60. It's one of the weirder things cuz I mean that's unanimously he's like one of the three best scorers of all time. But yeah, just like super high volume. He's never had to average 38 a game or whatever.
55 against the Atlanta Hawks in 2022. It was a
Ooh,
Brooklyn Kevin Durant game, and they lost.
Brooklyn Kevin Durant. And like it flamed out. The experiment didn't work, but like in 10 years when we're looking back on it and it was like, "Oh, damn, he came out the Achilles and he was playing like that." Brooklyn Kevin Durant, it'll have a lot of aura for me in retrospect.
Kevin Durant only has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 games where he scored at least 50 points. So, yeah, he's always been low volume, high efficiency, and he used to talk about that. Like he's focused on getting to like 25 on a limited amount of shots. He said on the Bill Simmons podcast years ago before things went sour. Um, it's crazy that they've podcasted. They did a decent amount of episodes together.
That is crazy.
Um,
That's crazy considering how Kevin Durant like I wonder if that played a role in the way that he like fucking hates every single basketball fan now. Like everyone he responds to on Twitter is saying something that like reasonably you could expect Bill Simmons to think of. So it's just like I wonder how that impacted his development and his feelings.
it probably doesn't help that Bill Simmons became like the most publicly vocal anti Kyrie Irving person, and he's like, "That's my best friend. How dare you?" Um, but yeah, I don't know. Actually, now that I think about it, though, I don't know if it's really reasonable for the Thunder to keep going with no center, um, especially. And then when Chet gets back, you're going to want to take it easy because
Well,
he's got no hip.
they signed a G leaguer. Did you see this?
Who was it?
His name is Brandon Carlson from Toronto's G League team. He's a 7 footer, averaged like a double double down there. I assume he's just a body to throw out. Like if Jalen Williams was healthy, even like the other Jalen Williams, I'm sure he would be playing over Brandon Carlson, but everybody's just hurt, so they needed a body out there. We are, I think, 2 weeks out from the earliest projected return for Hartenstein still. So yeah, it's just going to be a weird stretch of time for them.
And one of the problems with Hartenstein is he's a new player to this roster and completely different skill set to Chet. So there's going to be a learning curve to playing with him. So I think they should try and go out and get someone who is a center and who can shoot threes like Chet, and who
Whoa.
can they could try and survive these minutes with, and who's having a pretty good year. So if I were them, I'd scour the market. Laurie Marketing would be good, but the cost would be pretty high. So I might actually look over to Chicago. They actually have the center named Nikola Vucevic, who's actually shooting really well from three this year. So I would probably go in there and try and get that guy. Give up some picks, because also remember they made that deal where they gave the trash player to the Bulls, and they got the great player in return, and they didn't have to give up any picks. So maybe they give up picks in this trade, and it's like 2 for 1. So it's like they didn't actually give up any.
Yeah, I think that's smart. I think hey, him and Caruso, they have some chemistry. They've played together already, so I think yeah, three firsts for Vooch. I mean, it's
Oh,
one of the
okay.
most efficient
I'll take
outfielders in
one.
basketball. It's not like there's got to be a market for that guy, right? I mean, come on.
You know who else said in public, "Hey, I'm ready to go. I'll play for you guys."
Dwight Howard,
Dwight Howard.
son of a bitch. Dwight. I mean, hey, respect. Live your life however you want. I'm a loser on the internet who has no professional success of any kind. It's not a good look. Hey, I'll play for you guys. I'm available. It's just like chill out, dude. Or go to the big three. Just go to the big three and kill everybody. That would be sick.
I don't know if he can. Remember, he went to Taiwan or whatever, or maybe it was Thailand, and his team was in last place.
Okay, well, was probably just like a roster building issue. I mean, you look at the Bulls last year; they weren't really that good, but Vucevic, I mean, he's one of the best centers in basketball right now, and so it's like you just
He,
gotta
he
get the
could
right.
probably he could probably make the playoffs in Thailand.
He could probably make the play in the East right now. So I think
Oh God,
so. Like when you're talking about like, oh, the Thunder should trade for Vucevic, it's like, yeah, well, are the Bulls even like they've got a real shot, you know?
God. Thank God we lost to the Cavs. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Got a little hairy there for a second.
I did write down. So Shea and J-Dub are playing well, but in a shorthanded week, their backs against the wall. A week where you could say that they need a hero to save them. They need someone to save something. Who do you think that would be?
Tyler?
Lou Dort, 15,
Oh,
15 points per game, uh, 67% true shooting. He's up to 45% from three on
oh,
five attempts a game so far this season. And then yes, one Aaron Wiggins, 9 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, shooting 53% from three in the last 4 games. On 4 attempts from on 4 attempts from three, he's saving basketball.
I'd take that guy for Vooch.
Well, they have both of those guys. Oh wait, I was I don't think they'd give up Wiggins for Vooch. You can have Is there a player on the Thunder that you would not take for Vooch right now?
They don't have anyone else. They don't have any more guys who are do nothing.
Yeah, that's the problem. Everyone's good, so it's like, ugh. Whatever. Caruso
We
also.
already took their worst guy.
I know they already swindled you, so it's just like going back to do business with them. It feels like it can only go wrong, but it's like how much wronger can it go than it already went?
God.
I said Caruso. He just missed back-to-back games with hip soreness. I couldn't find like a.
Bulls win. He's injury prone. That was one of the ways they tried to sell it on the Bulls subreddit. Those idiots. He can't stay healthy. We won the trade. I swear. He'll never stay healthy.
Poor Kenny has been going through it on Twitter because he said last night Giddy is the worst defender I've ever seen play for the Bulls. And his entire he's a guy who when he puts a take out there that's like close to his heart, you could tell he wants to defend it. And so people are being like, oh, you were silent when he was playing good, but now you come crawling out of the woodwork to do your victory laps just because he's down right now. And he's just he's responding to everybody being like, no, I was saying this when he was playing good and blah blah blah. And I was just like, dude, he was playing good for like 3 breaths. I mean, he was playing good for a nanosecond. I've seen things yeah, like the amount of time it takes light to enter my fucking eye. That's how good Josh Giddey was playing for. So yeah, I don't know. He's bad. The Bulls are bad. I don't remember what my overarching point here was, but
Something about Caruso with injuries.
oh, I couldn't find like a actual diagnosis for the hip thing, so there's no. I mean, could be back tomorrow. Who knows? I just assume indefinite at that point.
But yeah, that's all I got on the OKC Thunder.
Krakow.
Oh,
That's lightning flash. The lightning flash, but it's an audio only episode. So that was the Thunder, ladies and gentlemen. All right, 1830. Who's the second seed in the West right now? Whoa, the Golden State Warriors. They went 3-1 this week. They beat the Grizzlies, the Mavs, and the Thunder. And then this goes all the way back to when they got smacked by the Cavs. They're the fourth ranked offense, the fourth ranked defense. They're the only team top 5 in both right now. What do you think? What do you think about the Warriors?
and they're fourth in net rating. Yeah, they're good. What are they? Are they 10-2 right now? Or did they?
Sounds right. Yeah.
Let's see. They are. Yes, they are 10-2, and so every single year that they've won every single year that they've started 10-2, they've won the championship.
Oh shit! I didn't realize there was a game going on right now. The Bucks are playing the Hornets, and they're up 4 at halftime.
Oh crap! The 2 worst teams in the NBA, the showdown. Yeah, the Warriors. They're back to being a third quarter blitzing team. They have a blistering 138 offensive rating in the third quarter. Steve Kerr said, to me, The model is 2022. We won with a similar mix to what we have now. Good on both sides of the ball. Established the defense. I think we finished second in efficiency. We still have things to work on, but we won a title built around Steph and defense. That's the formula this year, too. And so another part of the formula seems to be uh, democracy. They've always been a democratic. That's what Kobe called them in detail. The golden democracy. They've always been democratic in terms of sharing the ball, but now they're democratic in their lineups. They have no lineup that's played over 100 possessions together. The highest is 77, which is Steph, Wiggins, Kuminga, Draymond, and Trace Jackson Davis. For reference, the Knicks starting lineup has played 397 possessions together. The only team without a lineup that's played more than the Warriors I saw was the Charlotte, because their top lineups had Nick Richards in them, and then he ended up dying. But I'll tell you what, I'm a believer.
All right, and that was the trailer for this week's Patreon episode of the State of the League podcast. You can go to patreon.com/State of the League to find this episode, plus every other one we've ever put up on there. Join a Discord and get access to a bunch of different fun perks, as well as supporting me, Jack, Jokic Joestar, as well as Pablo Escobar financially. So thank you very much. Go check that out, please, and thank you.